Hello everyone and welcome to a new video on our YouTube channel The Third Man Musings. In today's video we will be covering the recently concluded India Sri Lanka ODI series, and at the time of shooting this video we are done with two ODIs of the India New Zealand series, and this is a very important year for us since the World Cup is due this year at home. So all these ODI series that will be happening during the road to the World Cup, we will be covering all of them and presenting our thoughts, and we look forward to your thoughts as well. So please don't forget to like, share, subscribe and comment, and we look forward to hearing your perspective and what else we can incorporate in our videos. So great start to the year for India. We have won both the ODI series against Sri Lanka as well as New Zealand, and we'll be talking about that today. But before we move to that, Sumit, what are your thoughts? Are you really happy with India's performance in both these ODI series in the year of the World Cup?
Yeah, Sujay, very happy and kind of used to it also by now as an Indian fan. So we keep calling these neighboring nations to come and play with us, like Sri Lanka or Bangladesh, I guess, at times. So we win them, and we are very good with our ODI series record in these bilateral series. So that's something which happens, and I think we again started on that note. The major question is when we go into the, ICC tournaments, what happens? So fingers crossed this time. Like we have a positive start, and apparently we have a template again. So let's see how much we stick to the template post the IPL. That is going to be the big question for me. So we'll start with the India Sri Lanka series. So three-match series, and I think the major highlight was the return of the king. So 200s out of three, and especially the last one, 166 was one of the best hundreds I seen in recently in my memory from Kohli's bat, wherein he was slow in the beginning as usual, but the way he piled up the runs once he hit 100 and the ease with which he hit the sixes, that was very heartening. There were no slogs, everything was timed and in the V, because he does not have all those paddle and fancy shots like Surya, right? So brilliant innings, and the way he controlled the tempo, and it just looked like okay, Kohli is back. So yeah, how did you feel when you saw those
Yeah,
sixes?
exactly. I mean, that's a very pertinent point put by you, because if you remember in that particular ODI, he scored the first 100 runs in 85 balls. And then he just went on to another gear, right? The last 66 runs came in 25 balls. So, and beautiful shots, right? None of them were like, totally ugly cross swipe shots or anything like that. Beautifully timed cover drives, and, even the shots over mid wicket were very pleasant to see. So, extremely happy that the chase master is back in his usual elements, and I think obviously he'll be a key clock for us in the ODI World Cup to come later down this year. And then let's move on quickly to Shubman Gill. So after Ishan Kishan's blazing double hundred in Bangladesh, I think the thought was that we will now, by the looks of things, it looks like Shikhar Dhawan is no longer going to be in the reckoning, right? Because his
Mm,
average in 2022 wasn't up to the mark. Plus, Shikhar Dhawan, as we all know, isn't exactly setting the innings on fire, right? He usually plays around 100 strike rate for a long time, and then if he gets settled, he in the later part of the innings he goes at 120 or 130 strike rate. But I think India is looking for somebody who can go hard up front, and Shubman Gill, I mean, what a transition it's been, right? Even after Kishan's double hundred, the one thing is Kishan is a bit inconsistent, whereas
mm.
Shubman Gill, as you can see here, the average is 69 and a beautiful 100 in the final ODI against Sri Lanka as well. He's looking very compact, he's looking very good, and he's building the platform for India. So I would say in the India Sri Lanka series, apart from the return of form to Virat Kohli, I think Shubman Gill has almost solidified his place, in the reckoning for the World Cup. So, Mit, your thoughts on the impressive Gill?
Yeah, so it was a big call by Rohit because in the beginning, I remember the press conference. He said we'll go with Gill ahead of Kishan, even though Kishan had a double hundred in his kitty. So Gill justified it, and then turns out he is the quickest Indian to 1,000 runs, which he made in New Zealand series. So the guy is very consistent, and he showed us another gear, which even I wasn't aware of. I'll be honest, because whatever little we've seen of him, he's a decent Test match player. But the way he controlled the tempo, we'll cover that in detail in the New Zealand preview. But even in this Sri Lanka series, he was consistent, and the way he played with Kohli, he just showed that okay, we found us a gem.
Right.
And for once, the management call was correct. And normally we back players, and then in the end we say, okay, we don't need them anymore. But this is one call which went right, thankfully. And now we know we have a he's no more the backup opener now. So he is going to be your number one opener with Rohit, and
Absolutely.
seems like Rohit is going to be the one setting the tempo, and Gale will be the one being a bit of an anchor, and then just take it off from there. Once Kohli comes in, then Kohli becomes the anchor. So they have that flexibility now. Which brings me to Rohit next, who was really struggling with his fitness and form because he was not getting the hundreds, and even he's still not getting the hundreds. But we can see over these five ODIs how he is taking it from ball one, and the average is 47, which is healthy. So he's getting the starts. That's one good thing to see. He's not getting out cheaply. He's getting the starts. He's not able to convert. Now, whether that's a fitness issue or it's just intent issue, we'll know in due course. But he's giving the start we need. Now we just need him to like have more consistency, because that's one thing I noticed with Rohit, right? Like I discussed with you, he performs once in 6 innings. So at least he's giving you 30, 40 every inning. So that's a start. So I'm happy how he's shaping up, and let's hope the fitness just improves. I think he looks much better than he did in the World Cup in terms of
Right.
fitness.
Right.
So good sign. And his captaincy also, I would just say it's not as good as Mumbai Indians, but I think it's because of the team. Mumbai Indians is such a team, but in India you can see him very flustered and angry, and not the calm Rohit we are used to. So one thing to note, and his captaincy, yeah, one thing which we should discuss is the way the team takes the early wickets, but then the tail enders come. Like two innings come to mind, right? Shanaka and Bracewell.
Right.
So he had the team on the mat, and somewhere I think his captaincy also needs to get pulled up a bit, and needs to reassess that why are we letting teams who are like add we have them there, yet with they're scoring 150 runs after losing 5 6 wickets. So yeah.
Right. That ruthlessness has to come in, right? Because we are letting them come close to our total, whereas in fact we should be winning by a large margin. And yeah, let's hope he improves on that front as well as we get closer to the World Cup. And then moving on to Mohammad Siraj, and what a revelation he's been, right? I mean, a few months back he was, he was getting hit a lot. I remember even in the IPL, and not only IPL, even in the matches that he played for India, he was getting hit a lot. But now he's getting that new ball to move around. He's getting the batsman to nip off early. He's getting those wickets, so it's been a fantastic turnaround for Siraj. He's looking really lethal with the new ball, and I think whether it be Bumrah or whether it be Shami, I think we'll be seeing Siraj definitely being India's new ball bowler up front. Sumit, what are your thoughts on Siraj's comeback big time into the international fold of things?
Yeah, so I remember with Siraj in last IPL, I think it was scary how he bowled. It was so loose and he kept getting hit. So this new Siraj, I think he got dropped from the World Cup squad. I think that hurt him, and he's come back even stronger after that. So that's one of the heartening points to see that young fast bowler has come into the picture, and he's consistent now. He's going to be your Test match bowler. He's going to be your ODI bowler. I hope they rest him in T20s. Just conserve him, because we don't want those cases, right, where the Indian pacer comes on the scene and then loses pace with fitness issues. So let's hope he continues on this form. And I think he's the number one bowler. He's really taken the mantle up from Bumrah.
Absolutely.
So one of the finds now in terms of he's been around, but I think now he's come into his own, which brings me to the next big find after Gill was Kuldeep Yadav. So a lot of issues this guy has faced, and it's heartening to see how he's come back from everything. He's worked on his batting, in fact, which something Chahal can learn from. That because Chahal kept missing the bus for every ICC tournament, but he still doesn't want to bat. He still wants to bowl only. But this guy worked on his batting. You can see the improvement. He's going to give you 10, 15 runs. He'll do tip and run and everything. But his bowling is what I love. It's a bit different. The action has changed a bit. The pace has increased. He's getting more drift. So, and the results speak for themselves, right? The poor guy was dropped after the man of the match performance in Bangladesh. Thankfully, they didn't drop him this time. I thought they'll again drop him after he got the man of the match, but he played after the second ODI. So I think he's a lock in now in terms of our Indian spinners. And now Chahal has to, start batting and try to match up to him. So yeah.
Right. And Again, Kuldeep Yadav is a left arm Chinaman, right? So that is a very rare breed across the world, if you see, because you will still get right arm wrist spinners, but Chinamen are very rare. Except him, it's only Shamsi on the international scene right now, right? So Kuldeep, yeah, does bring in that X factor, and now we have a wicket taking option in the middle overs as well, right? Because we saw in the T20 World Cup, in the middle overs, we were just not getting any wickets, right? And then the batting team used to consolidate and go big at the end. So I think that way, with the emergence of Kuldeep, at least we have wicket taking options in the middle order, and we can hope to get the opposition all out quickly. And on that thought, we can move on to Umran Malik. And Umran Malik, again, what a find, right? He seems to be bowling those 150-kilometer rockets at ease. I mean, it's not even like he's training his body and you feel like, oh god, will he break down or something. Very smooth action. And India have traditionally not had a 150 plus bowler, right? So
Mm,
he can hurry up the batsman. We saw that when he bowls short and gets the ball to climb up, he can be a real potent weapon. And even though he's a bit on the expensive side, but he's taking those key wickets, he's breaking those key partnerships, and like Kuldeep, he becomes a enforcer with the ball in the middle order for us. Sumit, what are your thoughts on Umran's emergence? Fantastic find for India, right?
yeah, and we did have a 150-kilometer bowler. Then, as you said it was Munaf Patel. And then God knows what happened to him. He had the keeper standing up
Eventually, he
to him.
became 125, 130, I think.
Yeah, he made Irfan Pathan look fast after a point. I don't know what the fitness was. Then he was a very good bowler. I remember his debut, right? Those Yorkers he did in some test match. So I hope this guy doesn't go that route. I hope he doesn't. He looks fitter any day, and they just need to conserve him and play him at the same time. So let's go to the next series, New Zealand, and we'll discuss further. Because surprisingly, they used Shardul instead of Umran, and that's one thing I will discuss when we come to the bowlers. But I don't think that was the right move. So coming to India, New Zealand in terms of batsmen, again Gill was the showstopper with that double hundred when nobody else worked on that pitch. So he just solidified his credentials that okay, he is the number one guy now in the ODIs after Kohli. Obviously, I won't say Kohli still got to be number one for me. And he got the 200. And the good thing was to see in the second ODI, he hit a 40. I know the chase was very limited, 109, but a good 40 not out to show that, okay, the maturity is there and he'll not throw it away. So, very happy that, okay, we've discovered Shuman and Kuldeep in these five ODIs at least. Rohit Sharma, as I said, he continued his good form and, getting the quick starts. Coming to bowlers, yeah, yesterday's performance was incredible, right? How
Magical. I mean, the way
magical.
they made the ball talk in the first 10 overs. 15 for 5. I mean, imagine New Zealand batsmen are born and brought up on green seaming
Those
tracks in
pitches.
New Zealand, right? And to
Mm,
have them struggling at 15 for 5 after 10 overs, is a testament to the excellent bowling from Siraj and Shami. And now, in fact, interestingly, Shami has, now there might even be thoughts, at least even I was wondering that, hey, even if we miss Bumrah, are for the ODI World Cup. Let's say, God forbid, we don't. But if we do,
mm.
then
We
Mohammad
have
Shami
covered.
is an excellent backup, right? Because Siraj, Shami, and Umran is a fantastic bowling combination. So I loved the way they made the ball talk yesterday. It was almost like a test match sort of innings, right, where they were getting the ball to nibble. So Siraj and Shami are now, in form, and in Indian conditions, the first 10 overs will be very crucial. We can't
For
let
sure.
the opposition get to a 84 no loss kind of start, right? So very impressive. So overall, if you see the Indian batting, bowling, even the spin combination, everything is looking like a well-oiled machine. And let's see how things pan out in the Australia series to follow as well, and the West Indies series which will follow as well. Your thoughts, Sumit, on how the squad is looking well rounded?
The squad is looking healthy now, and yeah, Shami. The good thing they're doing this time is last time, if you remember, when we lost Bumrah before the World Cup, they suddenly brought Shami out of the cold, right? And he
Right.
wasn't ready in the World Cup. So one good thing Indian team is doing, they're keeping him in the scheme of things, so that in case Bumrah does break down, they have Shami handy, or Shami can play independently also. So they are keeping a senior bowler ready, match fit, and that is one thing they've learned from I think the T20 disaster last year. The spinners speak for themselves. And coming to that point of Shardul versus Umran, I think Indian team has this tendency to keep a backup, which doesn't really work. And the amount of runs that Shardul will make with the bat, versus amount he'll concede won't ever match. So it's better to go with Umran. He gives you 3 for 60. He'll give you 3 wickets. That's assured. I mean, that guy will get you wickets. He'll get hit. But that's the same with Shardul, right? So Indian team, I think, needs to be a bit brave and stop thinking about having extra batting options and trust the 7 batters. And Kuldeep is giving you the tip and run. You have your hitter, Shami can slog and everything, So let's just try to, address the bowling issue with getting a good bowler rather than having an extra batter, because those middle over wickets are very critical. I mean, those analysis and stats I see from different reviewers, right? India is really bad in the middle overs, and that's costing us a lot of matches in the knockout, especially. So we'll go into this in detail in our next video. So the plan is to go over the 20 player pool that BC has announced. So we'll just discuss as per what has been selected in terms of squad and what the FTP looks like in the future. We'll see who are those 20 players and possibly which five will miss out. So let's see that in the next video, Sujay. Yeah,
Yes,
let's see. Mhm.
absolutely, Sumit. I think going forward, that is the big point of interest for us as fans, as to how the squad is shaping up and what are our chances in the ODI World Cup to come. So, on that note, folks, it's a wrap from us. This was our review of the Sri Lanka and New Zealand series, and as we mentioned before, a great start for India for the year to come, considering this is the World Cup year. Look forward to our next video. That will be a very important one on our probable and squad for the ODI World Cup. So till then, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment. And look forward to our next video. Till then, it's a wrap from Sumit and me. See you. Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Bye bye.